All right.
You got your visual perfect.
What you say?
You got your visual perfect.
Everybody, yes, I am working hard. I'm working hard. You know what I'm saying? So this is a double whammy. Usually I don't even do no like extra show, but I made it happen for somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Special. So yeah, I did a whole hour and 30 minutes on the air. I'm just doing this because usually I do Heather Javon live, the podcast on the Heather Javon page, but just so happened it's just like, you know, I'm gonna do something special tonight. So we gonna talk about some stuff that people might want to talk about, and this is not on the air. I'm letting y'all know I'm still in the studio, but this is not on the air. We might cuss, we might say some stuff, so yeah.
I mean, I can keep
introduce yourself, who you are. You know, you ain't gotta say what you do, but just, you know, introduce yourself, who you are and stuff.
Well, I mean, my name's Robert. I'm not from Champaign, but I guess you could say I'm a transplant. I've been here for a few years. And yeah, I'm an expert on what we're going to be talking about. I mean, it's my job. I'm also a patient as well. So I'm able to use legally within the state of Illinois. So yeah, I'm an expert in the field, you could say.
We're going to talk about that 420, that dro, that weed, that good, that I don't know what other else you want to call it, you guys, but this the after hours, after show party, I should say.
Yeah, definitely.
So I ran into you. I know you from it's been a couple of years since I know you.
It's been a minute.
And we got a common friend, you know, and it's been pretty cool, you know. And when we talked about some stuff the other day, you like, man, nah, don't be bashing what I do, you know. But
I mean, that's real. It's a stigma, you know. It's a stigma behind cannabis and marijuana, and then it's an even bigger stigma between cannabis and African Americans or people of color. So, and the only way that we're gonna change that is by educating people and having that dialogue and having the conversations, just to get people to think and understand, like, you know, what is this really about, you know? So yeah.
Are you considered the weed man yet, or what?
I don't consider myself the weed man. I'm not the plug or anything like that. But I mean, I work in the industry. I work in the cannabis industry. I do dispense cannabis to medical patients. So, in a sense, you could say that. But all of it's like very highly regulated. It's state regulated. It's a lot of rules and stuff that we have to follow. So it's not really peaches and cream as people might think it is. And it's like, it's very stressful because like there are cameras watching you, and everything is like checks and balances, and if you mess up, it could be the end of your whole career in the industry. So I'm very blessed to be in the industry, and I've been doing it for about a year now. So
is this almost like a dream job for you, or not really a dream job, or did you see yourself doing this? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I definitely never saw myself doing this. I mean, I was working in retail, selling cell phones, doing my thing, and then I applied for the job, and once I got the job, I mean, once I was in there, I was in there. But, I would definitely say that it is a dream job because, I mean, I've been using cannabis since I was like 16, and so to see it, for it to come full circle for me, and to be able to actually work in a job where I got medical benefits, 401k, I can provide for my family, and then I'm actually providing something that I believe in, and I can actually see like that it's helping people. Like we have like cancer patients and all types of different ailments, and like they're coming in just for a little bit of medicine, and it's really like you can really see that it's changing and helping people. So it's more fulfilling than anything, I would say. So just to do something that I love, I don't even think I go to work because I love what I do. Like, I mean, I can sit and talk about cannabis and look at cannabis all day. I mean, I love it.
So even with the patients, do you like consider this an alternative medicine? Do you know, like we got the Western medicine, Eastern medicine, like traditional Chinese traditional medicine, and we got our medicine.
Right. Okay.
Is this a different type of form of medicine? You know, because it comes from ground, herb.
Well, I would say this would be if if you wanted to talk about medicine, cannabis would probably be the first medicine because, like you said, it comes from the earth. You don't have to alter it. You can grow it in your backyard, and it'll grow just like regular. Like you can grow your tomatoes or whatever.
Yep.
It's a plant. You know, it produces a seed. It goes through the whole photosynthesis process and everything, just like a regular plant. So,
Right.
I would say that it's the original medicine. I can't say that it cures cancer,
Right,
and
right,
everything like
right,
that. Like
right.
no, but the medicines that these pharmaceutical companies are giving us, they're not curing cancer either. So
Heck, no, they not.
And
They ain't.
but what I can do is I can provide you with relief while you're going through whatever you're going through, so that you're able to maintain a healthy lifestyle and you're able to maintain some sense of like peace and comfort, because a lot of our patients, you going through cancer and chemo, you can't eat, you got pain. You use cannabis in all the different forms. I'm not talking about just like smoking it, but if you know, just using cannabis can alleviate some of the relief and just let you get your life back. You know, like people couldn't walk, you know, and then like after being on the program for 6 months, they coming in without walkers, without wheelchairs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing to see.
Okay.
And I think the other thing that it's amazing to see the spectrum of people that you see, also like the spectrum of patients. You see people from all walks of life, all races, all backgrounds, and it's all amazing to see them come together over a plant. You know, and to see the benefits that it has. And I mean, it's just amazing.
Wow. Wow. This is great because I had somebody on there on the show last time. He was celebrating 420. He kept saying 420. I'm like, boy, go.
It's 420 all day, every day.
But you know, even with the smoking, you know what I'm saying? We had this conversation last time where I no smoke is good smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like our body.
I mean, true. And that's correct.
Our body just no smoke, and it's just we don't supposed to have smoke.
Absolutely. And I mean, I would agree with you. We would call it in the industry that's combusting. You know, combusting. Anytime you're combusting the plant material, it's gonna be, you know, you got carcinogens and everything that's gonna be bad for your lungs.
Yeah, for sure.
However, when you add in, you know, your Swiss Sweets, your games, your Optimos, you add that tobacco and the nicotine into that, you're just basically, you're really making it worse.
For sure.
However,
Thank you.
When you use cannabis smoking it though, like you can vaporize it. That's the best way to use the cannabis, is like in its flower form, is to vaporize it. And you don't actually even burn the flower. It's just kind of like a vapor. And you're actually left with like the plant material will be left. It'll just be all charred. And so that's like, if you wanted to smoke it, that's how we recommend people using it, especially if you don't want to actually roll a joint or do like a bowl or a bong. But even when you do bongs and bowls, like you're literally putting a flame to plant material. So like any type of material, it's not gonna be the best for you.
For sure.
So
for sure.
But there's like way more other ways to use cannabis. You got edibles, concentrates, lotions, topicals, pills, everything. Like so, you just don't gotta smoke. Smoking is usually more, we call that med rec, like medical recreational. Because you know, you get more people that are like, oh, I want to smoke blunts and joints all day. Like you're not really relieving anything.
No, you're not. You're not.
You're getting the high portion of it. You know, which is good. But if you want it for, we specifically basically tailor make things for just for medically only. Like we're not talking about like how high you can get. Like we're gonna tell you, like you got pain, all right, you're gonna use this until the pain goes away, and then when the pain is done, you don't keep using it. You know, stop. And so that's really where you would draw the line from being a medical patient and a recreational patient anyway.
Okay. So there's a line, basically.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you on here. There's a line, okay? I'm glad you're on here to
Absolutely.
let me know these things too, because you know I'm for the, you know, don't smoke because you know it's not good for your body, you know, that type of thing. But you know, I do believe that, you know, alternate medicine is good, period. And I do believe that path should be taken by a lot of different people rather than the American way, pharmaceutical way, popping these pills, and it's only, you know, covering up the symptom, I should say. long enough for, you know, you to say, okay, I'm fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, and even when you just look at the plant itself, there's these things called terpenes, which they're like the essential oils of the cannabis plant.
Wow, yeah.
That's where you get the scent, the smell, the flavor, how it looks. Those actual terpenes are found in other like forms, like in other fruits and vegetables and other plants. So those, and they have that same medicinal value. Like a cool thing people don't know is like if you ever are too high, if you like eat some black pepper, it'll take the high away. Like it'll make the high lessen because of the terpene. It's called beta carophil. That's a terpene that's in black pepper. Okay, you can Google that. And then, but
I'm learning something.
But that terpene itself, it will lessen the psychoactive effect of cannabis.
Right.
But that occurs naturally. In black pepper, that's just how black pepper is, you know? Okay. So, I mean, all of it, I mean, I've never really been one for conventional medicine, like, because I've always felt, you know, from a spiritual aspect, you know, we were placed here with everything that we needed. So
I believe you, and I'm with you.
So, you know, like if we, you know, like that's crossing into probably another conversation. But you know, this stuff is natural. You don't have to add anything to it.
It come from a seed.
Yep, it produces a seed. You might get a bag with a seed in it, and you could go and grow it, and it'll grow into something if you take care of it. And so, yeah, that's amazing. And it has like multiple it can help with multiple things: nausea, arthritis, restless leg syndrome, cancer, like everything.
So it being a topical, basically, does it like numb the pain or something, or what does it do?
So it wouldn't necessarily numb, it would just kind of alleviate the pain. We have this thing called the endocannabinoid system. And that's basically our nervous system. But what's crazy, and this is just crazy, every person in the world, everybody in the world, plants and animals all have an endocannabinoid system. So we are already programmed to receive cannabis. Like cannabinoids and the endocannabinoid system, they all talk to each other. So when you're consuming cannabis, it's basically talking to the endocannabinoid system, and it's basically relieving the pain, or maybe like blurring the pain. Like we'll tell people like it might not take the pain away, but it'll relieve it to where it's manageable, or you're able to deal with it. Like it's just, you know, you're like, oh, okay, like I can do this, I can go out and walk, you know, or do this or do that. So, but that's just the endocannabinoid system that's in all of us. So we were already set up with that. It's like, how can you deny something that our bodies are already programmed to receive? Right.
Wow. Well, I know, you know, back in the day, you know, when I was young, you know, there was different, you know, they had the Reggie, they had the Dro, and that's that stuff that was like real potent. You know, you gotta, you know, put a couple of extra dollars on that to get some good stuff. You know, but now they have a long list and line of different, what is it, grades? I should say.
I mean, you got strains, and then, you know, the strains are gonna be like the names. You know, some we could shout some out, like Brownie Scout is like a known.
Do they get like blueberry?
Yeah, blueberry headband, Gorilla Glue, like those are like pretty notable strains. But when you have like your Reggie and then like your Loud and all of that, those names denote the THC content. So your Reggie is gonna be a low THC content. It might be like 10 to 15% THC. But your Loud is gonna be in the 20s, you know, and up. You know, so it's more of a premium product just because the THC content is higher. Back in the days, you know, they weren't really putting a lot of, there wasn't studies in all of this, and they weren't doing all that. So, and the availability, you know, California wasn't really growing all of the premium cannabis that they're growing now. So all that there was Reggie. That's the stuff that you get from Mexico and from Canada. You know, that's grown. We call those land races. They're grown indigenous. They grow in these areas.
Yeah.
You could go to certain parts of Juarez, Mexico, out in the wilderness where
and they just grow.
It's growing where it's untouched by humans.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody is touching it. It's just growing, and you know, these people, they go and, you know, they just grab it up out the ground, like, and that's what it is. But it's not, you know, because they're not engineered. It's just like if you see a rose that's grown in the wild compared to a rose that somebody grew in their greenhouse.
Yeah.
The rose that somebody took the time and effort and put into that rose that's in the greenhouse is probably going to come out maybe a little bit better. Or you can make it better. You can make it bigger. You can make the color different by adding certain nutrients or doing this by enhancing the ground.
Right.
But then if you get the original plant, like with cannabis, you get the original plant, grow it in a greenhouse, and then you have these other plants that grow from that. Yeah. Oh, now I have a clone. I can take this clone, and then I'm going to add this other clone from this other plant. Then I'm going to grab this clone from this plant. And then that's where you get all of these different strains because they're growing from these different people are just grabbing seeds from here, grabbing clones from here, and vice versa, and then just growing. It's just, anyone that has a green thumb, you know, this is just, it's just common sense. It's just common gardening knowledge, you know, with how they're able to expand and gain all of these different strains. Right. So. Right. Yeah. Okay. But just because as time goes on, it's the potency of the cannabis is only going to keep getting higher. Yeah. So as time continues. Okay. So.
I don't know if anybody can hear this, what we got going on right now. We trying to talk over this stuff that's going on behind us, but it's all good. We still got the energy going.
It's a nice background though. Like, I'm feeling it. They going hard on the
drums. I got a question about with the dispensary and the law and stuff like that. So some people don't know and understand this stuff, but we do need to break it down so people can understand there is a difference between the federal law and the state law. Right. Period, point blank. Correct. You know, federally,
it's still illegal.
It's still illegal.
So like every day, like federally, like every day, like literally, and this is a real situation, and it happens sometimes. Like dispensaries get raided by the feds. In Michigan, you know, a whole dispensary got shut down for like 2 days. I mean, no charges came about because they're still regulating within the state, but the feds can do a sweep. And if, you know, it's all about, like, you have to know the federal law. Okay. And there's like certain levels within the federal law where the feds will mess with you anyway. Okay. You know, like that's even, like, you could even say that's even in the streets. Yeah, yeah. You know, like, you just selling nickel and dimes. Like, the Fed's not really looking for you. No, they not thinking about you. You selling nickels and dimes, but then you start doing
different
bails.
Levels.
You doing bails. Yeah. You got the forklift. Then they're gonna start. They're looking for you. Like, oh, who is this? Who is this person? Right. So there's a certain level that you have to operate under, and you have to stay. You have to operate pretty much within the law. Like,
you moving too much weight or something, right?
Well, Illinois has it where that's not really gonna be a thing. Like, they regulate everything. They regulate your inventory. They regulate everything you do. It's all regulated. So Illinois has a pretty good handle on the situation for the most part. But yeah, it's still federally illegal.
Yeah, yeah,
very much so. So yeah, if you outside of Illinois and you're not a medical patient, and you still go, but you'll still suffer the penalties from like the state too.
For sure. So even federal laws, but you know, federal and state is totally different, and then the state may take it over, like Illinois is doing. They are regulating, you know, what they're doing in the state. Will that help us? You get what I'm saying? Like, they're taxing the marijuana. Will that help us as a state?
Yeah, so, okay. Let me just break it down.
I have to break that down too.
So you could think about it like this, then you could look this up. This was just posted on the Illinois State website, and my figures may be off, but roughly or approximately, like, just last year, it was like over $100 million was made with the medical cannabis program. Okay. Just the medical cannabis program, and it's only about 50,000, maybe 50,000 medical patients.
Okay.
So in the entire state. So just imagine if you make it recreational, where anybody that's 21 or older can purchase cannabis. How much money that's gonna make? They're thinking it's gonna be billions.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
Right.
If you just got only 50,000 just by
just 50,000.
1 year.
No, that's since it's been in place.
How long has that been? Okay, I got you. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. And
now what they're gonna do with the money, I mean, you don't know. Like, right. I mean, Colorado, like the a main portion of it went to like education and like roads and stuff. Who knows if that's what's gonna happen in Illinois? And I mean, that's what some of the people that are against recreational in Illinois are about, is they don't want it to become like big tobacco, which is what I wouldn't want that to happen either. Like, I wouldn't want, where you got big tobacco where they're like advertising to like, kids and and it's just very,
in certain communities.
Right. Well, when you start bringing in like the certain communities and stuff like that, like it's hard to really think about that, because then you would have to get to why, like you have to start wondering why cannabis is illegal in the first place. Like you would have to start considering that, because something that has been illegal for over 70 years, but has been on this earth since the earth has been here. And then there's now this prohibition against it, and then you're going against that, you're gonna have to let people out of jail, and that's kind of gonna go against what it being illegal is gonna completely go against that. So federally, I don't see it happening federally for a while, just because of why it's illegal is in place. Like the reason why it's illegal right now is in place. Like I don't think that they're satisfied with what they've accomplished, or they feel like they can probably accomplish more, or who knows. But
so what's hemp?
Hemp, okay, so you could say there's 3 or 4 different basically scientific variations of cannabis. You have cannabis indica, cannabis sativa, and then it's like cannabis deuteralis, that's hemp. So, and I'm not saying the scientific terms, so like all those like people that are like very like proficient with their scientific terms, you could correct me. But that's just like a synopsis or overview. But hemp has no THC in it at all. So you can't, if you were to smoke it, you're not gonna get high. Nothing's gonna happen. It might have a little CBD in it, but you're not gonna get nothing from it. Period. But hemp is good for clothes. You can make oil, like paper, textiles, everything. There's a lot of, and it's easier to grow. It's easier to grow than trees. And like soybeans and everything. The Midwest is like has like the perfect soil for it. So hemp is gonna be a big if you don't know anything about hemp, you should get on hemp. Start looking at like hemp companies, because it is federally legal now. So the hemp industry is about to be booming. That's why I always wear Levi's, because Levi's were like one of the first, like their original jeans were made out of hemp. So I always was like, they was like low key pro cannabis, you know what I'm saying? Like low key.
And even with that, hemp, can help us. In the future.
Absolutely.
It can curve us from cutting down those trees. It can curve a lot of different things, right?
Gasoline. Like it's like the oil, like you can really create energy with the oil that's from hemp. But they don't, like, that's what I'm saying. You have to understand why all of that stuff is illegal. Like,
that's why I'm glad I'm talking about it.
Like,
because people need to do their research.
Like, people, like, it's so many times, like, people will talk to me, and, like, I'll get, like, just funny looks and stares. Like, I'm a father, I got kids, and they be like, oh, you smoke weed and you do this, and I'm just like, well, and like, oh, it's against the law, and I'm just like, well, back in one time, like, it was against the law for us to vote. It was against the law for us to use certain bathrooms and certain water fountains.
To drink that alcohol.
Know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't even talk about alcohol. Like, we already know like what alcohol can do and how it plagues the Black community, all communities. So we're not even gonna go into that, but. Like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, break the law, but like we should question why the laws, like,
Yes.
why is the law really
Why?
law? Is it really justified? Is it a justified law? Like, was it justified to make black people drink out of a different water fountain?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Was that justified? And you see,
Wow.
they had to change that though.
Yeah.
So I mean, at some time, I think at some point when people become woke or whatever, you know, like then they'll start realizing like some of these laws, the laws are set up for certain people. They not set up for everybody.
Exactly. So with that being said, with that hemp, like you said, it's a great plant, and it can be used and utilized for a numerous of things, a lot of different things, which could also hurt companies.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
If they're not gonna embrace it,
it's gonna hurt. Right, like you said, it can hurt a company, and it can hurt that oil company, that gasoline company, or the paper company, or whatever. Right.
And then you also got to think, you know, unfortunately, because I guess it's how we are as human nature, like that greed and like how much emphasis we have on money and you know how important money is. How can you tax or control something that you can grow in your backyard? If all of us can do it, like hemp is easy to grow.
Yeah.
So if all of us can just grow hemp, and we all out here, we just all out here, we get our subdivision, we just gonna start growing hemp. Everybody in our subdivision, we learn how to grow hemp. All of us, we growing hemp in our backyard. We just become our whole little hemp collective. And doing that, we making our own clothes and doing all this stuff, but we doing
oil.
But we're only doing it amongst our community. We're not selling it. We're just trading it amongst each other because we're just the hemp community. This is just what we do. What are these big companies gonna do? Like, how are they gonna, you know, like if we're able to provide for ourselves and it's self-sustaining, and like that's what I'm saying. We are here. Everything was already set up for us to be able to sustain ourselves.
I'm glad we talking about
all of this stuff was set up. Everything we need is already here for us. Like we don't need anything else. And like, you know, like it's just strange. But I mean, I'm sure that there will be communities like that, you know, especially like with technology. Some people aren't going to embrace technology, and you know, maybe they'll go underground or something. But I'll be with the hemp growers. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna be rocking my cell phone, but I'm not yet. Some of that.
I'm for that.
Yeah, it's just if you're not able, if they can't control it, they'll use it to control.
Come on, man. Come on, let's get it. I don't know what my cousin said. They could have rebuilt Haiti with hemp.
Facts.
Wow.
Big facts. They could have used the energy. They could have used hemp oil to run generators to get the electricity back on in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all of that.
You know, but it's always some laws, restrictions, and we even talked about that just like a couple hours ago, where you know there's some laws and that ain't changed since 1770 whatever. You know what I'm saying? They still in the books. It's a law.
Facts.
Now they got amendments and all these policies and all this different stuff, and it's all messy, but. You know, hey, it's restrictions, it's limits.
But
you know,
when you have the ability to control an entire race of people or generation or class or whatever, and really, and what a lot of our culture doesn't understand is they didn't necessarily control us; they controlled our old heads.
Okay.
So. They control. All we got to do is control one generation.
Yep.
We set this one generation up. They're gonna just keep passing this along.
Yeah.
And so that's why you still have racism, and then that's why you still think that's why you have so many black people thinking that they less than anything.
Yeah.
Because this is like I wasn't anything, so you're not gonna be anything, and your kid's not gonna be anything. And we
don't do that. Don't talk to the police like that.
Right. Yeah.
Off the bail.
Yeah, that's just like they don't have to. They don't have to control us. They learn. It's like they just sitting back watching it. Like, oh yeah, well,
here go the guns.
Yeah,
Let's just see how it
goes.
This some real shit. I'm sorry, but you know, hey, it's real.
I came professional, so I was trying not to cuss.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Yes, I'm still working, still in the studio. Man, we got Rob here, and he dropping some, knowledge and some information on us about cannabis, and hemp. I told him I ain't want to take too much of his time or nothing, but
I'm good. Yeah,
it's some good stuff, man. I'm glad you really are going over this stuff, and we were just talking about the restrictions on hemp, because that was the perfect question I wanted to get at. You know what I'm saying, about the restrictions, about actually getting to a better place in the world where we can unite some stuff, but at the same time start thinking about other things that we can possibly do differently in order to curb all these problems, like the pollution, you know what I'm saying, and actually cutting down the trees, these different things right now, where I do believe a lot more people are being aware of this right now. It's almost like the hippie age again, it seemed like to me, where a lot more people are going to be vegan, a lot more people are being conscious and being aware that, hey, we need to start meditating again, coming together and doing different stuff.
Wait, you remember that they condemned the hippies too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they was their own kind.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Yeah, it's just, I think that the most important thing that we can do as a culture is just educate ourselves and get factual information, like get a library card, go to the library. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Follow some good blogs on social media.
For sure.
For sure. I get tired of going through, and seeing memes of us fighting each other and all of that. That's not the type of stuff we should be promoting anyway.
For sure.
Anyway. I'm guilty of looking at it and laughing and probably liking, but then afterwards I feel bad about myself, because I'm like, man, that could have been my sister, that could have been my homie sister, that could have been somebody I know, and if I was in that situation, I wouldn't want them to be put on blast like that anyway.
Right.
So
yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
But yeah, education. And not necessarily formal education, because they be lying in schools too. So
man, them books. Some of the kids having problems paying attention in the class right now because of them books. Man, it's what they want you to read and what you supposed to read, off of theories and models that was.
Well, I think the education system is going to need to get in 2019, because you can't still be talking about Christopher Columbus when my son is 8 and he can go on the internet and Google Christopher Columbus, and he'll see something that they said and then see something completely contradictory to what they said and be like, well, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh wait, this is Encyclopedia Britannica? This is a reputable thing? What is y'all talking about?
Yep.
So I think that's technology, I think for society is probably a gift and a curse, because it does give people more access, but the one thing people also don't understand is with wisdom comes a lot of responsibility.
For sure.
And some people don't want the responsibility.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Where's the lie?
Wow.
Where is the lie? Some people don't want the responsibility. They don't want to know the truth. They know the truth, but they don't want to accept it, because then if you know the truth, then you're gonna be held to that. You're gonna be held to. Yeah. They're gonna hold you accountable to that truth.
Yeah. Cause I know for a fact, you know what I'm saying? When I was young, we did a lot of Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? We did a lot of embracing on that. I'm sorry, I didn't press the thing on here. But we didn't we weren't taught that, you know what I'm saying, that they came over and shooted the Indians and killed all the bison and buffalo, you know what I'm saying, crazy, and that could have helped us.
So wait, what about this is the biggest issue I have with Christopher Columbus. How did they say he found something that wasn't lost?
Right. Right. And there were people already over here. Plenty of people.
Already over here.
You know what I'm saying? Plenty of people. But not just Indians neither.
Yeah, not just doing their thing. Doing their thing. Yeah. So the fact that they say he discovered a place that no one had ever been, but then you had to kill some people you had to kill some people to discover it. Like that means it was never missing. Like
right.
you just didn't know about it.
You didn't know.
Right.
Yep.
So like that's the only thing I'm like, man, whatever.
Dang, that's crazy. But you put something in the book, you know what I'm saying, and certain people won't read it.
Yeah, nah.
You know?
I mean, or hear it. It's audiobooks.
Right.
I listen to audiobooks.
I do
it's
too.
Podcasts. We on a podcast.
Yes, we are.
We might have, what we just said might have made some people stop listening just because they like, oh, well, yeah, I ain't trying to hear that.
Mm-hmm. I
You know
don't
what
believe
I'm saying?
it.
I'm not trying to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't on that.
Wow.
I mean, cool. Like,
Wow.
I mean, you can't change everybody. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not one, I'm definitely not one. I try not to tear down my people, you know,
For
like,
sure.
so even if you're not going to accept the truth, I'm not going to tear you down. You know what I'm saying? I'll still be there to help you when it blows up in your face. It's cool, I'll be there. For sure. But, you know, like, it's still like we got to hold each other accountable. But every other race does that.
Yeah.
Every other race does that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
every other race does that. They hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
But we've been conditioned
Yes.
to think anything that is of ours is below standard. Mm-hmm. When really we set the standard.
We do.
Which is crazy.
We do. We need to make sure we
are the standard.
Yeah, we are the standard.
Like we are the standard.
Yep. And a lot of people just don't know and think about it, but you know, everybody look to us for those answers too, though.
But it's not even in, like, when I say, like, and I don't even want to say, like, when I say set the standard, like, I'm not trying to demean, like, any other race or downplay them. Mm-hmm. But, okay, we all know that when during slave times, they said that our bones were more dense, our skulls were harder. So if we were thinking in the animalistic sense, we would be the superior animal because our bones are more denser. So our bones aren't going to break as easy as yours.
Yeah.
My skull is harder than yours. I'm more physically fit than you. So in the animal kingdom, I would be superior to you.
Yes.
So how would that make me inferior?
Yes.
Our brains are bigger. We have more. We are able to conceptualize and rationalize things that they aren't.
Yes.
We have this.
Yes.
We got this thing called melanin. Like, that's like the craziest thing. We got this thing called melanin that only
that right
like
there.
That's so crazy. How do we have this special?
And we can make every color in the fucking world. We can make every color though. You know what I'm saying? They can't make us.
Right, but
we make every color.
That's
light,
so
brown, in between, dark, whatever
that's so
it
strange.
is.
That's
Rose
so
color,
strange.
all of that.
But it makes sense. So
all of it.
So that's why I would be afraid of that.
I would too.
Wouldn't you be afraid of that?
Yeah.
If you could only, like, if I could only make other white people or other people that look like me. Mm-hmm. But then you got this other person that can make all shades, all different shades,
all colors, all sizes, all hair varieties.
That would put fear into me too.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
That would put fear into me for my daughters and like the future of me as a race.
Yeah,
that would put fear into me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Wow.
It is. I mean, that's the thing. They can't stop it.
We done talked about the weed. Who else that said something? It's called the Eve gene. Is that what she said? Yeah, that's my cousin.
Eve gene?
Yeah, it's called the EVE gene. That's what she said.
What's that?
I think what we're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't researched that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
hey,
Eve.
Do your research.
She was the first mother, so I mean, she was the first one to give life. So yeah, I believe it. Like, I definitely believe that.
I don't think they were looking for that.
Oh, yeah,
when they just passed, it was the people that just passed.
They did look like, oh, did we go to
yeah.
I think they only felt comfortable because they saw us. That's black privilege right there. That's black privilege.
They like, nah, I don't know about that right there. It was supposed to be something else going on today.
That's black privilege. You feel comfortable enough to walk in somewhere because you see other black people.
That's funny right there. That is funny. Yeah. But we didn't talk about, the 420. We got the weed going. We didn't talk about some laws.
Yeah.
We didn't get on some pro-black. We didn't talk about some stuff.
Well, I mean, when it's really full circle, because I mean, the cannabis is black. You know, like, we're the reason why it's illegal.
Wow.
We are, like you can look this up.
Wow.
You can look this up. We're the reason why it's illegal. You know, like, black and brown people back in the early days, like back in the early, like, jazz. You can look into the jazz.
Okay.
We'll just take one. We'll just go one direction.
Yeah.
So you can look at the jazz industry, the early jazz industry. You know, they say that jazz is African American, like, classical music. So if you go back and listen to the music, like, the words that they were saying, some of the songs, not all of them, but some of the songs were about weed.
Okay.
Who is, like, the most notable? The Louis Armstrong. That's
Okay.
like the most notable black jazz person, right?
Yeah.
Bigger pothead than Snoop Dogg, bro.
Okay.
Smoked it regularly,
Okay.
all the time. Couldn't do anything, like, without smoking. You know, so when you're able to create this music, this sound that is undeniable in all races, undeniable,
yes,
still to this day. And then even, like, let's pause from the cannabis thing. Have you ever wondered why jazz is not as big as it could be? Like, people don't be really on jazz like that, really. Like, not even, like, we don't even, like, could you?
I like it though, cause it's.
I mean, I like it too, but
you
it's
know?
not like it's not. But that's like
No.
that is really like that's really us.
Yeah.
That is really
is.
us.
It is.
You know, but okay. So back on the cannabis thing. So you get this. You have this sound, and then you have these other races that are vibing to it and everything. But then you know what they're talking about. You know, they're talking about smoking weed, like in some of these songs. There's songs that's called, like, there's a song, the name is on the tip of my tongue. And it's called, like, the Reefer Creeper or Jive. Back in those days, Jive meant weed. They was talking about cannabis. Jive, anything like pre-1930s, they said Jive, they was talking about cannabis. They was talking about weed, like, in anything. So you hearing this, you know, so of course you're gonna be like, oh well, so now my daughter, my little lily white daughter is gonna go and smoke some weed and is gonna be procreating with these black people. You know what I'm saying? So all right, how can we control this? 1930. 1930.
Okay.
It's called the LaGuardia Report. And I would challenge everybody that's listening to this. 1930, New York. The New York mayor did a report on cannabis, and it'll debunk every myth that is out there currently. In 1930, that's the LaGuardia Report. Then when Richard Nixon was in office, the Schaefer Report. They had to do a whole other report after in 1930 that this man already said there was nothing wrong with cannabis at all. Yeah. They had to do another report. And in 91, Nixon's, like, right-hand man ended up going on, they got him on a wiretap saying that they had to control, the only way that they was going to be able to control African Americans was by getting the hippies associated with cannabis and black people associated with heroin. And we're going to criminally punish them very strongly, cannabis and heroin. And those are the two those cannabis and heroin are, like, the main Schedule I drugs right now that are the most heavily penalized drugs. Right. Wow. And that this is all, like, literally written documentation, like, and that was, like, in 91. And, like, and it's still illegal right now. It's still illegal.
Yeah, it's still going on.
But if you think about how much money it makes for jails and everything, all those petty offenses, like in New Orleans, you could get caught with, like, a gram and you might get 15 years in jail for a gram. That's like a blunt. You get caught with a blunt in New Orleans, 15 years. Right. That's insane.
That's beyond ridiculous. You know, but you need to control, you need to regulate.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll remove the black dad out of the situation. We'll remove the black dad out of the situation. He's gonna be good for about over the 15 years. He's gonna be good for free labor. Then we'll take a portion of this free labor that costs, we have welfare, we'll put it into the home so that the mom will stay at a certain level and will never fully apply herself and will also keep the family separated, because as soon as in 15 years and he comes out, if they're still kids or anything, you still getting welfare. Nah, son, you can't come back home because you're gonna mess up my welfare check.
Yep. Because the dad can't
for
be
a
there.
gram, for a blunt, just because you was like probably just wanted to smoke a blunt real quick.
Yeah. System. The system.
It is what it is.
And restrictions and laws and stuff that's still in play.
Yeah, but that's like in New Orleans. So like
sure.
a place like that,
sure.
Like they're definitely, obviously they're not as progressive as some states. Like here in Champaign and Urbana, like Urbana is more progressive than Champaign. Like the weed laws in Urbana are less severe than they are in Champaign.
Right.
Right. So
yeah.
But still, you just gotta know your information, man.
Yes.
Know your information,
yes.
And like, just know who you are. Know who you are as a person. Like, that's really all it's about.
And so I gotta go into like I'm gonna call it the weed program. So basically, it's like they're doing more studies on weed now.
Yeah.
And
they've always had studies. So in Jerusalem, the United States has been funding a doctor in Jerusalem. The doctor, he founded CBD.
Okay.
They have for probably like 15, 20 years. They've been funding this man in Jerusalem to just study cannabis, and that's all he does. So he is like pretty much, he is like the head leading expert as far as everything else. But once Prop 420 with California and Colorado, once these states start legalizing stuff, you got Amsterdam, they've always had cannabis readily available. Canada, so more people are studying it because they know that there's nothing wrong with it. It's been around. So as more people get on the program, we can get more people that use it with the program, they'll be able to do more studies.
Right. And
so that's what we need. We need more people on the program, more of us on the program.
Yeah. So
that's easy.
Good.
It's easy to get on the program too.
Okay.
Any type of ailment, post PTSD, any traumatic brain injury. So if you was in a car accident and you got hit in the head and you had to go to the doctor or the hospital, and it's on there that you got hit in the head, you got a concussion, any traumatic brain injury, any head injury, you can get the weed card. Crohn's, Alzheimer's, depression, anxiety, all of that. PTSD it covers all of that.
For sure.
So there are certain things like you would have to have it written on your medical records that you have it, but there are doctors that are pro cannabis that will help you do that, and that's also what that's what I do. Also, I help people get on the program. It's not very expensive, and then there's even an easier way. They just our previous governor, passed an opioid bill. There's an opioid act. So if you've ever been prescribed an opioid, which is a painkiller like hydrocodone, anything, you can pay $10. You can go to your doctor, have him get you on the thing, pay $10, and you can purchase weed out the dispensary for 90 days.
Wow.
And you just pay $10, and you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to do it that day. Like, you come in after you go see your doctor and he does what he's supposed to do. You come see me. You pay the $10. We going in the back and you can pick out whatever you want.
Wow.
And that's if you've ever been prescribed a opioid. If you're currently on opioids, like any of that, and it's just an alternative to opioids, because that's really what's killing us.
Oh Lord.
It's not really killing us because
right.
If Future and them weren't talking about popping Zans and all of that, we probably wouldn't really be using them as much. But it's the other, it's other people that are using it, and they're seeing that it's killing their own kind.
Right.
So now they gotta rock with it.
Yeah.
They gotta rock with it.
Yeah.
Because it's still to this day, no deaths caused by marijuana. Still to this day.
What about overdose?
You can't overdose.
Say that?
It's literally physically impossible to overdose on THC via smoking or eating.
Okay.
Because one, your body is gonna you're gonna get, when you reach, so some people say like, oh, I smoked and I threw up. That means or I got nauseous. That means you're at your tolerance level.
Okay.
So that means for you, sit down. That means stop. But you can't overdose to where you're gonna
die and pass out and
no, you'd have to not. It would be a very large. It would have to be a very large amount. Like, I think it's like you would have to smoke like 22,000 joints, like half-gram joints, in like 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's physically impossible.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. You know, because man.
Now, when people do edibles though, like when you eat an edible, you're just going over your tolerance. So if you've never had cannabis before, and then somebody hands you an edible, and it's like it has a 300 mg on it, and you eat that whole thing, you're gonna be messed up. Like you're not gonna be in a good place at all.
So edibles are totally different from the smoking when it comes to like tolerance or something.
Yes, it all affects you differently, but still, you're not gonna overdose to where you're gonna like die or something. But you're just gonna be messed up. Like your stomach probably is gonna hurt. You probably gonna be like feeling weird. You just have to go to sleep. You just took too much. But nothing. There's no cannabis related deaths.
Okay.
To this date, like as of right now.
Can you explain the edibles though? Because some people think. I had an incident. We went to Jamaica, and my sister and my brother, they got some real good,
right.
You know, in like a brownie, a cookie.
Yeah.
And they ate it, like did like half and half, and man, they was over the top on it. You know, like loopy and stuff. But
that's what it's gonna do. That's what it'll do.
So many gummies. You thinking you finna eat 10? You done did too much. Well, can you break it down like how the body?
So it takes the body longer to process. What happens with edibles is it takes the body longer to process the THC. So you eat the edible and you're expecting to feel something like immediately. You don't feel anything, so you start to take more. Then you don't feel anything, you start to take more, and then boom, out of nowhere, it just hits you. It usually takes about an hour to 2 hours for an edible to take an effect, and then that effect will last like 4 to 6 hours.
Right.
So that's why you don't want to just be taking all the edibles and then, doing that.
And even with the edibles, some people I've heard around town, that they try to measure a certain amount, and then they got a batch of cookies. You know what I'm saying? So,
I teach people how to make edibles all the time. It's how you use cannabis. So if you're making the cannabis with flour, you have to decarb it in the oven. You have to cook it a little bit, and then you got to grind it up really fine, decarb it, and then you put it in there. In that situation, you would need to know how potent your cannabis is, and then how much you're using. And then you would base that off of the amount of THC. But if you're buying your cannabis in the street, you don't know how much THC is in it. So you never really know how potent they're going to be. So right from jump, you pretty much shooting in the dark because you don't know how potent they're going to be.
Right.
But usually the better thing is to make more of them, and because then the more of them, they'll be lower dose.
Okay. I got you.
But I use it's called like a Rick Simpson oil. It's just an oil. It's a cannabis oil, and I just put that in like butter, honey, and then I know how much THC is in it. So I made some cookies today, some peanut butter cookies, and I made like 20 of them, and each of them are gonna be like 30 milligrams.
Okay. So you need to know like the math and what's going on
if you want it to be accurate. But like I'm not. I like to be under the influence all day. Like I don't like to not be medicated. But again, I'm a medical patient. I have a card, so I can I can do that. I'm not recommending that or saying like, oh yeah, you should be doing this. I still think people should still act within the law.
For sure.
But.
For sure. And you got to know your body too.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
so I know how, I can smoke in the morning, and then I'll take an edible, and that edible will last me until I get off of work, and then as soon as I get off work, I'm flaming up. And then that's how I can make sure that I'm medicated throughout the day. But if you don't know what your dosing is, and you're just taking an edible, it can mess you. Yeah, you could take a too strong edible, it could really mess you up.
For sure.
So you just want to know what your dose is.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Some more questions.
No, that's that tag thing sometimes. But shoot, we done did almost an hour. You know what I'm saying on here.
I told you it was gonna be like that.
I do love it. You know, for you to actually like we were supposed to do this a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of dates didn't, you know, match up with me and you. But you know, I'm glad you was able to, you know, come with the knowledge and the actual education on certain topics.
Yeah,
today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
For sure.
In the building.
For sure. Usually I'm not here. You know what I'm saying? I usually tape in a different location. But you know, this was just convenient right now to do it right
dope.
here.
The setup dope,
you
man.
Know?
Like I said, I feel like I'm at the Breakfast Club or something.
Oh,
you know
hush. Yeah, the crew ain't here. You know, Kiki.
Yeah,
had
where's
to
your
jet
engineer?
out.
Where your engineer?
Man, he had to jet out. He had to do some stuff, and then Tiger, he usually be here too. But you know, this me. You know, this is what I've been doing for a while. So I give people the opportunity after, you know, getting on the air, if they want to, you know, talk about whatever they want to talk about, I'm giving them the spotlight.
No,
you know,
that's what we
I'm
need.
doing.
You know, that's what we need. Gatekeepers, like you got the platform, so you giving people an opportunity just to come up and just, you know, get their message out, and that's what we need. You know, helping. You got that hand down there pulling us up, so I can definitely appreciate it. And hopefully, you know, depending on the responses you get, maybe you'll have me on again.
For
you
sure.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know?
definitely, man. Definitely. I just, you know, want everybody to know, man, hey, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Rob.
Yeah, it's no problem.
For real. Thank you so much. Hey, let me know, y'all, if this was a good, you know, show or whatever, and it was very inspirational, I should say, and actually it'll give you something to like go and do your own research on the topic that we talked about today, and that was pretty much weed, cannabis, and hemp. You know, so anything else you want to talk about? Say anything?
Nah, man. Hey, stay black, stay excellent, man. Just stay blessed.
For sure.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
For sure. Thanks, Rob.
Should I have like, you know, just be like words of wisdom at the end or something?
You can
smoke weed every day.
I'm done with you. You too much. No, you didn't. I like your shirt too, man.
Yeah, you know.
I
couldn't. I had to switch shirts. I just got off of work, so I didn't want to come in with the work shirt. I was like, I don't have the work shirt on, so I threw this on. But you know, I'm always supporting, man. I can. You know, it wasn't as easy now. Now that I'm legally, I can be a patient. I'm a patient. It's easier. I feel more comfortable doing it because it's like, oh, if you give me a weird stare, like I'm just gonna look at you like you don't even know my situation.
For sure.
But before, when I was illegal, like I was always kind of like,
Now,
you know,
it's like
yeah, it's whatever. Like I can do it. Man. You know, and I've been waiting for this moment.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's out here.
This good.
Litty.
That's good.
It's about to get litty anyway.
Yes, it is. Dang, I forgot to ask about the stocks and the stuff, man.
I don't really know that much about. I'm still doing my own research more on stocks, like just on like how the stock market works and everything. Like I want to know like the like the real shit. I don't want to know like just the book stuff. So I've been chopping it up with a couple of people. Like one of my homies knows this dude that is on the like works at the stock exchange now in New York, and I've been like texting him, asking him questions. But, yeah, like as far as the cannabis stocks right now, you can trade them in Canada. So if you got a special broker where you can trade out of Canada, I would get on it.
Wow.
But yeah, soon.
It will be.
It's just gonna be difficult because of the federal legality. Yeah. Because once you like that's why banks don't like banks don't mess with us, like none of that. You know, like because if they technically if they accept the money, the FDIC, they're money laundering. Yeah. Right. So so it won't be on the American Stock Exchange for a while, but in Canada they're going crazy in Canada. They going crazy in Canada. What they got in Canada? Euros or what is it in Canada?
I don't know what they got?
I knew what it was.
I don't know what they got.
But yeah, they going crazy. It's going crazy in Canada on the stock market. Yeah.
Wow. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, man. Well, hey, you choose what you want to choose, to do in the future. But, I believe that, it does help, those people that really need it, and I believe that, hey, if you need to do that alternative medicine, do it, man.
Yeah.
For real. Because some of this stuff that's going on in the hospitals, some of that stuff just don't work, and that guinea pig type of stuff, I don't like that. They cutting on my auntie right now, and it's pissing me off, and I want her to, go a different route, you know what I'm saying? Because some of this stuff is just like too much for me.
I mean, like chemotherapy is mustard gas, so just think about that. Like when you think about believing in conventional medicine, just think about the fact that chemo is literally mustard gas, which is what they put in concentration camps, and you know what that was about. So when you get in radiation, I know I mean, some people might not agree with that and say like it helps. Cannabis helps too. So,
herbs help too.
Herbs.
Man, it's
a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff out there. They say Dr. Sebi cured cancer. So I also been researching that court case in New York. That's a legal, what Nipsey Hussle was talking about. That's a real situation. This man definitely won his case in court saying that he cured these people from cancer. So if you think about it, obviously he had to prove that in a court of law. So obviously that information is going to be, that's public record. Any court document is public record. You can go and search that. You just have, it's going to take you're going to have to do that due diligence. But I promise you, once you do the due diligence, your life probably going to be a lot better overall. So those are real things. Check that stuff out, man.
Check it out, man. All them oils, essential oils and stuff that can actually help us rather than all this chemical stuff, that carcinogens that are in the food, let alone the chemicals in our, regular, ordinary soaps and all this different type of stuff. I don't even want to get into all of that. That's that other show and veganism type of stuff. So I ain't even gonna do all of that. But it's real. But I'm getting to that point though, where I'm almost a hippie. So
yeah, man,
I'm getting there.
I've been a hippie. I've always been. I say, I've been a hippie, since I be wood jewelry, hair,
real simple, man. Chilling, not too flashy, but keep it simple. Yes, yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. It was a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all too. Let me know what's going on with this particular podcast. I usually don't do it on my personal page, but it's all about the 420 today. You know what I'm saying? Just giving them that platform to talk, give us the education and the update of what's going on.
All right. Hey, happy Mother's Day to the mothers.
Thank you. Thank you.